This is Sports Charlotte, the podcast about sports in Charlotte. My name is Hough White. I'm editor-in-chief at the Charlotte Post. This is Cameron Williams, who's a staff reporter at the Post. And it is Wednesday, August 27, 2025. Football season has begun. So it's a lot like Christmas, and it'll stay that way until September, I guess. And
Until December.
well, the Christmas part.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
December is kind of like New Year's, which is apropos.
Okay.
Really, because it's like, oh yeah, everybody's. Well, never mind. We're not going to get into what everybody's doing on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day,
Adult beverages.
among other things. But the high schools kicked off their season in Charlotte and the surrounding area last week, and we were on board with a lot of that, especially the Keep Pounding Classic. You went to the games. I assume everybody had a good time. There was like 12,000 people or so there at the Bank of America Stadium. And what, pray tell, was learned from the KPC?
Well, I learned that Huff and West Charlotte are going to be two dangerous teams once they clean up some penalties and just little, I guess you could say, mental errors. I mean, just, little things. First game jitters, if you will. But look, West Charlotte had over 80 yards worth of penalties, and they still only lost by a point to a state power in Grimsley, a national power, really. They're 17th in the country. That spoke volumes to me as to where this team could possibly be. Right now, they're in the upper 200s to low 300s in the national ranking. This team could crack the top 50 if they put together a really good rest of the season and just start rattling off some wins. I mean, they scheduled a tough schedule. They've got Monroe this week. I think West Charlotte could be really good. And look, I mean, Huff's defense it's really stout. I mean, Rock Hill, South Point, they've got an offense that is built to put up points, and they only scored 10. So I think you've got two of the right teams in the 1 and 2 spot in the Magnificent Seven. But, man, I'll also give my props, all about giving props. Hadn't gave props in a while to Mallard Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely decimated Rolesville. Rolesville, I mean, they've got talent all over the field. I know last year 80% of their starters were Division I recruits. That's unheard of. They beat them 36-21. Tinsley might have something in the water over there at Mallard Creek that we don't know about. But look, they played well. It's still early in the season to kind of gauge, in at least in my mind, who's going to win championships. But great first week, as you can tell by my giddy
demeanor.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned the Magnificent Seven and the results of the KPC. And because of that, there's change at the top of the rankings where West Charlotte has been supplanted by Huff. Going into the season,
Well, it should have been first way anyway.
Well, arguments can be made all over the place, but ultimately West Charlotte was the preseason number 1. And losing, albeit in overtime, by 1 point with a failed 2-point conversion for the win, you don't pick up points for losing.
Yeah, but I say don't lose if you want to drop in the rankings to this man.
You don't want to lose. I give them credit. They played a heck of a game, worthy opponent, all that other stuff, but nobody gets a reward for losing. So Huff goes to number 1. West Charlotte doesn't fall far. They're second. It's still a good team, no doubt about it. And everybody else stayed in place. Mallard Creek is 3rd. Independence 4th. Charlotte Catholic, a team that I think that very few people talk about enough around here. And maybe it's because they aren't playing with Mecklenburg County teams and it's kind of off to the side now. Mm-hmm. But Catholic has a good team. Palisades, followed by Butler, which was, I think, to some people maybe a surprise, given that they didn't do that well last year. But change is sometimes a good thing.
There's something to be said about Brian Hales too.
I mean, his track record says
Yeah.
Put some respect on the Bulldogs. So there's the Magnificent Seven.
I did have a question. You got Independence here at 4, and I mean that's appropriate ranking. But he says Mint Hill will be jumping Friday with number 1 on the line. You mean to tell me if Independence wins, they're going to jump from 4 to 1?
No.
Oh,
One drops down.
One drops down. Okay,
Because,
that number 1 on the line.
Yes.
Okay.
Because and some might argue, well, if we beat the number 1 team, shouldn't we be number 1?
Yeah, there's an argument to be made there. Now, another hypothetical. Independence wins, Hough drops down. Do you put West Charlotte if they beat Monroe 1-1 back to 1, or Mallard Creek at number 1 if they go to Virginia and beat Warwick, a power in Virginia?
I don't share the recipe.
The secrets of the M7.
Yeah, that's right. Because a lot of stuff goes into that. And it's not necessarily the absolute best team that is the thought process. It's who is doing the best right now. And that is what separates these rankings from polls and stuff like that. Because it's not an emphasis on who you think is the best team in the county. It's who's doing the best right now. That's what separates it. And I had, I guess, a reader who responded to the poll this week saying that West Charlotte should still be number 1 because they played a tougher team than Hough. Like I said, you don't get credit for losing.
It may have been a tougher team on paper, but I mean, South Point's no slouch.
You're still supposed to beat them, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's all I'm saying. And all that stuff may be true.
Well, okay. Here's what I'll say to that. And there is something to be said about winning and losing.
That's all that needs to be said. Winning and losing.
If West Charlotte would have, say Hough would have beaten Bonnie Cone Charter School, who they're not a great high school football program, and they beat them close. West Charlotte loses a close game to the number 17 team in the country. That they should stay in front. There's just, in my opinion, and it's why they get the rank or the seeding so screwy when it comes to playoff time. RPI and this whole formula that they do, you got to factor in strength of schedule. And I think RPI does that to a degree because your opponents' other opponents' win percentages will, in theory, be higher. But I mean, if you're in a conference like the MEC Power 6, and you're getting beat up on each week, and you got teams that are, a bunch of teams winning and losing, you could have 2 teams with 500 records that are better than a team that's undefeated in Cabarrus County or Iredell County, and they're going to be seated lower. And I don't like that.
That's RPI. This is the M7.
You gotta factor straight.
No, because we're not deciding playoff seeding or anything like that. It's a strictly our local thing. And some people might say, well, Mecklenburg County doesn't even play the best football in North Carolina. Now, they may be on something pharmaceutical in nature, but people will, in some places, make that argument. It doesn't matter. This is a Mecklenburg County thing, and it doesn't include the private schools. You have to play in a public school league, and that's why Charlotte Catholic is included. But this is strictly our thing. We go about it our own way, have our own formula, and your input is welcome.
He won't listen to it.
I very well might listen to it if the argument is strong enough, but I try to steer clear of any undue influence.
Well, just while we're on the topic, why isn't strength of schedule in your factoring? At least not to say if a team that beats some 1A charter school stays ahead of a team that
of course it would. Of course that would come into the conversation.
Okay.
But it's not appropriate in this argument because of the strength of the opponents in the KPC. I mean, that was 4 really good teams. So it's not even like, okay, well, yeah, the Panthers shouldn't have invited this really terrible, smaller division, not so good team.
Yeah.
They were all, at least last year, they were all 3 or 4A schools that were contenders for state titles. West Charlotte was one that happened to win one. So, yeah, that argument doesn't necessarily resonate because all 4 of those teams, at least on paper, are good teams this year.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get that one doesn't necessarily.
But if your example ever comes to fruition, yes, we will take that into consideration and grade it appropriately.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Palisades, for example, their strength of schedule in the next couple of games isn't through the roof. I mean, they don't play, I want to say cupcakes for an analogy, but Mallard Creek is about to go through Murderer's Row. Warwick, Grayson, number 4 team in the country, and Cardinal Gibbons, who's a perennial power up in the Raleigh area. If they go 1-2 and they finish their non-conference 2-2, they should still be in the M7.
And they very well might be.
I mean,
but you're offering up hypotheticals instead of stuff that we know has happened. So once it happens, then we can move to that.
You know, I'm the prognosticator.
Okay. Well,
that's my 4th P.
You mean the one that you lost?
I got that back already. It's been over a year.
In your mind, perhaps, but we will see how well this all turns out. And I think that your point about the toughness of the scheduling for West Charlotte, Mallard Creek, etc., all that's valid. And I think in their league, the Mech Power 6, there's going to be a lot of bumping and banging.
Oh, yeah.
And if one team can run the table, that is by far quite the accomplishment.
Might as well crown them the M7 champ, even if they don't win a state title.
Well, that very well could happen. But as we've seen in the past, running the table does not get you to the level of actually winning the state title.
We have seen that.
Like last year, West Charlotte, we're talking to you, where Butler had the great regular season, didn't finish the job in the state title.
Or Hough, for that matter.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the point. So if you don't get that done and another team in the county does, yeah, they deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we are in terms of the M7 rankings. And in terms of the games ahead for this week, obviously number 1 against number 4, that's going to be a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
And who do you like? Is there such a thing as a home field advantage in high school? Considering you're all in the same county.
Well, if you talk to Triangle Tribune writer Alex Bass, he would say no. He doesn't believe in home court or home field advantage in anything. I don't agree with that sentiment. I think there is a small level of home field advantage just in the fact of knowing. See, a lot of sport in general is very psychological. If you are at a place where you know the majority of the crowd is on your side, that can only boost confidence. So I think there's a small level of home field advantage, but man, if only I didn't have the Duke's Mayo Classic to go to, man, that is, I would be on Patriot Drive. I can promise you that, because that game's gonna be a good one. Oh, who do I got?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Did I lose the train of thought there?
Let's see. If I pick one team, and I know this guy's going to be active, if I pick the other one, another guy.
Or maybe we should just let you off the hook and say, well, don't worry about it.
To appease Coach Deshaun Baker and Coach DJ McFadden, I will say this is going to be a very close game. I think that both teams proved in week 1 that they are capable of possibly winning state championships. Independence beat a very good Gaffney team. We've already talked Hough beat South Point. The winner of this game is going to be the one who makes the fewest mistakes, and I'll leave it at that.
That is so Coach ease. That's Coach speak. Okay, let's put it like this. What is the one factor that's going to determine the winner? So that way you don't have to tick off either of your friends.
I think the quarterback play. I think whichever quarterback establishes the tone and really, look, Ethan Royal at Huff, really great quarterback. Jared Street transferred from West Cabarrus to Independence, had 261 passing yards in week one, really showing that he can spin that football. Whichever quarterback has the cleanest game, I think the team's going to win the game.
Okay. Well, I would even flip it to the other side. It'll be defense that determines that game. If Huff brings the group that played in the KPC last week,
yeah, that would be tough.
Yeah, there you go. So now no one has to be offended.
That's right. Well, I mean, look, I ain't in this business to make friends, but I mean,
oh, but you want to keep the ones you have.
Don't die. On that note, thanks for watching and listening. Please go to our website, charlottepost.com, and become a donor, become a subscriber. We produce this journalism. It's free for y'all to consume on our website, but it is not free to produce. So we would like your contributions if you like our work. So also subscribe to the weekly newsletter. Sports newsletter comes out every Thursday. This man right here puts it all together. A lot of my stories are in there, a lot of his stories. And as football season continues to ramp up with college starting this week, there's going to be a lot more stuff to talk about. So with that being said, and Herb coming at my neck, thanks for watching and listening. Have a great rest of the week.